When we were children, happiness came so easily. A piece of candy, a puddle after the rain, a story before bedtime. That was enough to make the whole world feel magical. We didn't need a plan, or a reason, or anyone's approval to laugh. Joy just happened. But somewhere along the way, something changed. We grew up, and as we did, life stopped feeling light and effortless. The days got heavier. We started worrying about things we never used to notice. How we look, what people think, whether we're doing enough. Have you ever wondered why that happens? Why do we lose something that once came so naturally? When we were kids, we lived close to what you might call the flow of life. We didn't overthink. We didn't label every moment as good or bad. We simply experienced the wind, the sunlight, the sound of our own laughter. We lived through our hearts, not through our heads. Our hearts were clear and open because we hadn't yet learned how to complicate things. That purity made it easy to be satisfied. A child doesn't chase happiness, they are happiness. Everything felt new, and even the smallest moment was enough to bring joy. But as we grew older, we started building walls made of opinions, comparisons, and fears. We learned to measure everything. We started asking, am I doing this right? Do I look okay? What if I fail? And with every new definition, with every new label, life became a little less alive. We stopped living from the moment and started living for the moment we think will come next. We began chasing something we already had, peace, love, meaning, but now they were always just out of reach. And so we run. We study more, earn more, collect more, prove more, hoping that somewhere along the line we'll finally feel complete. But no matter how far we go, that feeling doesn't last. Why? Because what we're chasing isn't outside us. It never was. Every time we define something as success, we create the shadow of failure. Every time we label something as good, we invent the fear of bad. And so our lives become a cycle of chasing and avoiding, grasping and resisting, never realizing that both the chase and the escape are born from the same illusion. The truth is simple, but it's hard to face. We've forgotten how to live from the heart. We live entirely in our heads, in judgment, in thought, in story. Think about it. How much of your day is spent thinking instead of experiencing? How often are you lost in comparisons, memories, or imagined futures? We've become so used to analyzing life that we've forgotten to feel it. We call it being responsible. We call it growing up. But what we've really done is trade wonder for control, and control is exhausting. We cling to ideas and identities, the smart one, the successful one, the good one. But every identity is just a story, a mask we wear to feel safe. And behind those stories, there's a quiet voice that keeps asking, who am I, really? That voice is your heart trying to speak. It's the same voice you had as a child, the one that wasn't afraid to laugh too loud or cry too hard. It's still there. It never left. But it's buried under noise, the noise of what the world told you to be, the noise of who you think you should become. And the more we listen to that noise, the more disconnected we feel. We keep thinking, if I just find the right job, if I meet the right person, if I finally figure myself out. But fulfillment doesn't come from adding things to your life. It comes from removing what's not real. True peace isn't found by changing your life. It's found by changing how you see it. You don't need to escape your story. You just need to remember that it is a story, one that your mind keeps writing and rewriting. The moment you realize that, something shifts. The storm quiets. You start to see thoughts for what they are, just passing clouds and not eternal truths. That's what mindfulness really means, not controlling the mind, but watching it without getting caught. Every moment is a seed. The kind of thought you plant becomes the world you live in. If your first reaction to a problem is fear, you'll see a world full of threats. If your first reaction is openness, you'll see a world full of possibility. So, notice the first thought. That's where the power lies. Not in trying to fix the story, but in seeing it before it becomes one. When you can look at your thoughts and say, this is just a thought, not reality, you take back your freedom. True self-awareness doesn't mean you stop feeling pain. It means you stop turning pain into identity. You still feel disappointment, sadness, loss, but you don't become those feelings. You let them pass through, just like clouds crossing an open sky. That's what freedom feels like. Not escape, but openness. The kind of peace that doesn't depend on what's happening around you. And when you live that way, aware, gentle, present, you start to rediscover the world the way you saw it as a child. You notice the sunlight again. You feel the wind again. You laugh for no reason. You stop asking, how can I make my life perfect? And start realizing it already is. Because perfection was never the goal. Wholeness was. And you were whole all along. So maybe growing up wasn't about losing our happiness. Maybe it was about forgetting where to look for it. And maybe the journey back isn't about becoming someone new, but remembering who we were before the noise began. When we return to that, when we live again from the heart, we don't just find peace, we become it. Hey, if this message hit home for you, maybe take a second to hit subscribe or just drop a like. It genuinely helps this little message get out to others who might need it right now. Seriously, thank you so much.